This is Mile High.
Do I want to tell the story or do I want to show the message?
You've got a lot of work to do between Mile High.
The time has come where we can know
we have a responsibility, an ethical and moral responsibility.
We have to do it better in order to move people along.
Up, down, inside out.
If you get your mind right, it is not. It is a receiver of thought. Because love is my first technique.
it's now time for the show.
Welcome to the Mile High Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Daniel Knowles. Thank you for joining us from around the globe, whatever altitude you are at. We are at 5,280 feet, where we anticipate you to be in August of 2026 from Mile High 14. This is the 14er. There's more 14ers in Colorado than any other state, and we recommend that you stay a little extra time for the scenery. You can get the full details at riseuptomilehigh.com, and highly recommend that you hit subscribe so you never miss any Mile High tick, whether you are watching and listening to this on Spotify or YouTube or whatever channel it might be. I am super thrilled. This is going to be a lot of fun today. Not that they're ever not fun, but to be doing this episode, have as our guest Dr. Jaime Browning, who was at Mile High this year on stage. She's a full professor and technique department chair at Sherman College of Chiropractic, the center of the chiropractic universe. There's so many titles that we could say for Dr. Jaime. She has an advanced certification for knee, chest, upper cervical, diplomat in craniocervical junction. You can keep going on and on with all kinds of awards. I think we could get a list of who has more awards and certifications, you or me. It's probably close. I don't know. She's the research chair of the ICA's Upper Cervical Council from 2018 to 2022. But I want to say, I think the biggest accolade is that she's a Disney adult. I'm going to go with that as the top one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I accept all Disney adults. I do not have any kind, let's share our details and give tips to each other, for sure.
Yes. And we have that in common, because Rochelle and I, we went to Disney for our honeymoon, and not a lot of people do that. So, and what made you, what made you guys Disney adults? Let's start with that.
Okay. So I think if You've met Kyle Browning, and he will love that I'm talking about him on here. He's everybody's best friend, and he's a big kid. And it really worked out well that when we got together and we had a child, which kind of gave us a reason to go. That's kind of everybody's usual first. And we went down there and we realized how much we've missed out. I went when I was a kid and I loved it, but I didn't realize that it's for everybody. Like, you can go and immerse yourself. And I will tell you, it is one of those things when you talk about Disney, people will only remember the good things. Like, you can be down there screaming at your kids, or you can be like, I'm so stressed out or hot, I just want to go back to the room. You'll never remember those things. You only remember the joy. And so when you're down there, it feels like you're completely immersed into a different world. It's like you know you're living in the same world you're living in, but you are completely immersed. And I think everybody needs that. And we enjoy that. And my children know. I'm actually taking my daughter for her first plane ride. It's crazy. She's 20. She's never owned a plane. So I'm taking her next month, and we're going to fly down to Disney for a couple of days and have a daughter mom time. But other than that, my kids know that Kyle and I will go several times a year. And then this end of this year, we'll have a big trip with everybody. So they don't feel completely left out. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. If you just want to be crazy, it's fun.
I love it. And, Rochelle's new favorite is the International Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. She loves that. And, if you want to see Rochelle crying, just like as you walk into Main Street, and actually now I think we should plan a trip. You guys and us. We need to do that. So we'll have to put that on the bucket list.
It's the best time in the world to go with people who are geeked out as you are, because when you geek out and people don't geek out around you, you do realize you're different. And so it's good to go with people who get it. It's so much fun.
There you go. So now let's geek out on chiropractic. First of all, let's find out, how did you find your way in the chiropractic world?
Oh, my story. So I'll try to summarize it. When I say that God's hand has been in my entire process, it's been in my entire process. I don't think I had a choice. So I grew up in a household where my father went to a chiropractor. I didn't know anything about it. Didn't even care. Sorry, I didn't care at all growing up. Didn't know. I'm a college athlete who I suffered from severe migraines that I become photophobic. I was doing everything shy of a narcotic to get back onto the court and play. It was really, really rough. Well, fast forward, I'm out and I've had a career in HR after I graduated college. Didn't really enjoy that. I feel like sometimes HR in corporate worlds is neither human nor resourceful. So I was looking for some job opportunities and I applied for a blind ad in a newspaper for a admission counselor position at the university, well, in Spartanburg. And so my idea, that was USC Spartanburg, which is now called USC Upstate. So I called. Thank God Lisa Hildebrand was who she was, and I still credit her for my journey on starting me. I called and she said, no, we're a chiropractic school. And I was like, okay. Yeah, great. So I applied, I got here, and they actually, the great thing that she told me, she's like, we kind of like people who don't know anything about chiropractic because we get to set your foundation. Well, I got the job as a mission counselor, and within about a year and a half, and part of that was Reggie Gold coming to speak on campus. I was in the middle of my master's at the time. Reggie came and spoke, and I thought, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And during that time, I'd had philosophy courses with Myron Brown. I had Tom Gilardi ended up being my first president, by the way. And then I had Bill Deccan, I had Val Panaccio, I had a lot of great people. So what happened was I ended up applying and got into the position here. And within my first adjustment was on this campus. So I had Steve Clark was my intern. He adjusted me here. And then I found Steve Conicello, who got me into upper cervical and changed my life. So when I say to people, I love when people come on campus and they tell me what Sherman is, and I just listen and I just smile because there's nothing more Sherman than my first adjustment, my first introduction to philosophy here, everything I know about chiropractic. I call this my childhood of chiropractic. I know nothing but Sherman chiropractic. So when I go speak on stages or I go talk to other people, all I am is just sharing what I know. And this is ingrained in me. I don't even have to be told what I'm supposed to be saying because I don't know any different. I don't understand different chiropractic. And so that's my journey in a nutshell. It's way longer than that, but that's how I got here. It's really through the hand of God that kind of guided me through this process.
Well, I love that. And now I want to get to the next one. So we got Disney.
Yeah.
And then we got how you found chiropractic. How'd you find upper cervical?
So when I was here, while general chiropractic helped me some, right? So my first adjustment stuff too, which were great. I, again, was struggling with those migraines I'd had from playing volleyball in college. I would slam my head on the floor constantly over and over again. And it got to a point where I kind of wasn't getting better. And I was on campus and I was trying to believe the story, oh, it's going to help you. My life wasn't really being helped so much. And that's when Steve Conicello came into the picture. A bunch of interns or students were going down to his office. He had Green Book nights. He could take x-rays and he is really what took my life to the next level. And I got my entire family under care. My daughter had asthma at the time. She was 2 years old. Kyle had severe low back pain. I had this. I also had TMD that had developed and also had IBS. And within my first upper cervical adjustment from him, my TMD was gone. Within 2 weeks, IBS was resolved. And within about a year and a half, again, of infrequent adjusting, really, to be honest with you, my migraines were gone. Addison's asthma was gone, and Kyle's low back pain was gone. Not that I'm a symptom chaser or follower. It's just hard to deny. For me, I was a prisoner of my own body, and I got completely freed of that. And so for me, that's what took me on the journey for upper cervical. And it's been something that I just can't look away from. It's as you see in your practice too, you just see it over and over again happen for people and you can't be denied. So that took me on my journey, and then I got involved with Rob Kessinger, and that's where my neuro world exploded. So
love it. So now tell us, so some people listening to this are students, some are doctors, some are full spine doctors, some are upper cervical doctors, and then everything else, right? There's a big picture of chiropractic analysis systems. So why do you think the upper cervical spine is vital and everyone should know more about it?
Really good question. I'm actually going to expand that a little bit more to the cervical spine because the more I've dove deep into everything, it's become more of my focus as well, not just the upper cervical, it's the cervical. It's rich, rich, rich with stuff that we can change and change for function and better. So while I am sitting here talking about symptomology and those kind of things as well, we tend to leave a lot on the table when we think about the cervical spine. There's tons of sympathetic ganglions in there. There's also your parasympathetic feeder systems. Within very quick changing processes, we can affect the autonomic nervous system and affect it globally at blueprint baselines. It's kind of the stuff I talked about when I was at Mile High, talking about the thermal. When we can change at someone's baseline autonomic response, we have changed how they interact with the world, right? And that's the big thing about what Sherman College says too, is we say that we are helping the patient adapt better to their environment, not vice versa, right?
Right.
So autonomic process, I think it's something that post-COVID, and whether that's COVID you got as a virus or the vaccine or the lockdown era, or whatever one you want to call it, people have changed autonomically. They have, I don't know how your practice is, but for me, people that that got back onto the road of health really quickly for us doesn't happen as fast. There's all kinds of autonomic fire. Their body thinks there's constantly some kind of thing they're fighting.
Right.
And I think in the cervical spine, that is a dominant feature. We are heavily loaded in autonomic value. The other side too is our gravity centers are there, right? I'm learning that along the process of your vestibular apparatus and all the kind of beautiful things, the upper cervical. So it's a conduit to not only the computer system of our entire process, but it also houses a lot of important features that if we don't get that right, or if we overreact to it and do too much with it, we can set someone's life in the wrong direction. So for me, it's super important that we do that really, really well.
Got it. Got it. You said something, touched on something that I think is really important. You use the word adapt, right? Keyword in chiropractic. And Sherman is known clearly for philosophy. And I think there's something else that generally the chiropractic profession overlooks that Sherman should be known for in the technique analysis world. And yes, it's upper cervical, but something a little bit higher up in the levels of abstraction that I think it's center to Sherman's analysis that I don't think chiropractors and learn anywhere else, not in a major way. And it makes me sad, which is and you mentioned thermography, right? Which is that analysis, it's the person dynamic or static.
Absolutely. That's literally the features that we teach all the time. So it's part of our pattern analysis course has actually changed, and it's become a bigger course called neurofunctional analysis. And that's what we say. Are they static or are they dynamic? And dynamic means that they are able to live in their environment and their world effectively. Static means static we have to define. What is static? Are they static through subluxation? Are they static for other reasons? We have to figure that out. And that's where analysis features come into play.
And I think those two things, philosophy, objective, and people overlook that is the person dynamic or static, and that's your analysis. Not that you upper cervical means you do a toggle. It means that like you're looking, is the person subluxated or unsubluxated, regardless it's upper cervical full spine, is the person static or dynamic? Absolutely. And that analysis is so vital. And you look in different ways. Some people look at instrumentation, some look at posture, and not going that deep. But I think that is a vital thing, that it's a tragedy that most chiropractors never learn that conceptually.
And do you know what's crazy? So I have been one of my big features, and one of the things I think I'm good at, there's plenty I'm not good at. I can tell you a list of those things, but one thing I think I'm pretty good at is I'm good at crossing a table with other paraprofessionals and speaking their language and having that conversation to pull them to us. I mean, funny enough, in the last couple of years, I have cardiologists, physiatrists, so forth saying subluxation. It's really funny. But when I go across that table and talk to them, at the end of the day, their latest research coming out is on adaptation. That's exactly what they're looking at. They're looking at the same features we're looking at. And I think if we get into those communities, which is kind of what I'm trying to do, and we talk that same language, we're on the same page and the same team, and we all are looking at the same patient going, okay, you can help with this and you can help with this and you can. I don't need to be all the things, and I also don't need to change who I am to actually feature myself in front of them. And I think to your audience and everybody who's watching this, they really are. They think more like us than we think they do. They don't like the prescriptive things they have to do. They don't like to do treatment-based protocols. Most of them are working that way, and you're seeing that in the literature too as well.
Right. It's interesting. I saw in a video, YouTube short or something about an orthopedist, like a well-known, he has a big following orthopedic surgeon. And he said how he goes to chiropractors. And in this very short video I saw, and he said, and he thinks they're a very good profession. And the thing of where they go wrong is not staying in their lane. I was like, well, that's exactly, he said he loves them. But it's when they don't stay in the lane where there's a problem.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Totally agreed. I can't agree more.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. And then you said you're good at a lot of things, and there's things you're bad at. I'm hoping you're good at getting in the lightning lane at Disney.
Oh, I am. And I shared some tips. I hope Rochelle told you some of the tips that I shared. That there's like little, I don't want to say it out here because I don't want people to take it and then we will. There's like little apps you can use. Yes, absolutely. We know tricks.
So what are some of the plans for the cervical education at Sherman College?
So we have some big plans, and thank goodness for our board, who has a robust image of what Sherman should be and who they should become and their vision, because that's what I've been waiting for. I've always called Sherman College. I always wanted it to be, my vision was the Duke University of chiropractic, right? So like everybody says, oh, I go to Duke when something goes wrong. I don't like Mayo Clinic idea, but I like the Duke University idea. So I want Sherman to be that, right? So our feature, what we've created, and with my partner in crime, Dr. Theodosis, she is starting, I believe, next quarter, a pilot program for an upper cervical focused internship process. So I love it. Yeah, I know, right? So if a student learns a bunch of different upper cervical techniques and wants to apply them, she's going to handhold them through that process so they can get really good and acquainted with the upper cervical spine, how to analyze, how to adjust, and so forth before they graduate. I come in a postgraduate, and this is the biggest undertaking probably I've ever taken in my life, a little overwhelming. We're in year 2 of 5, where we're trying to create a postgraduate program. Don't want to call it a residency because that comes with very hospital-y kind of things, but it's a postgraduate program that right now we're looking at, not sure time frame, year and a half, 2 years, not really sure, still putting those pieces together, where we will take on very complex case bases, the stuff that I'm seeing right now, dysautonomias, POTS patients, CCI, Chiaris, all kinds of things. And we'll take them on, we're going to put them through a research protocol, which is the process I'm building right now. I have a lot of research tools that I am using and I'm adding on to them. And we'll put them that process, and then we'll put them under care, and then we'll be that feature where a person's experience, so a student who graduates a DC now wants to go into this, it takes their clinical experience from like a brand new newbie to about 5-10 years of experience where they're getting hands-on enriched experience. They're ready to go take on way more bigger things when they get out of here. And I'm a redneck, so way more bigger is a way we speak. The other side of that is the research component and the ability to cross aisles where people go, okay, that looks like a cervical chiropractic issue. We're going to send that to Sherman College's program, and it's called the Institute of Complex Cervical Care. So we're going to send it to that group, and that group is going to take care of it just like you would have sent it to a Duke or so forth and whatnot. So we're going to collect and have research also to put out into the field and also be the expert that people send to as well. So that's part of the program. In the Institute of Complex Cervical Care, we also have a lecture series, and we're also going to have topic series where we can get more hands-on and deal with stuff which is coming down the line, like Dr. Scully's stuff. So anyways, not to expand too much, but that's where it's going. So we are going to create a intern program focus, a postgraduate program, research, and be able to get, again, hopefully get more research out into the field for cervical care.
Love it. Love it. That's so exciting. And you touched on this a couple of different times of our differences in chiropractic. And, it was something that I noticed as a student and in my first couple quarters that really disturbed me. And I use network spinal in my office, and it's what I'm very passionate about. And, when I walked into Sherman, I didn't know there was anything else other than network. Why would I? And I just thought, wow, network is like the premier chiropractic thing as someone who is a student walking in, and why would I not think that? And I got slammed with all the differences and things people weren't happy with. And I saw the infighting of upper cervical versus full spine, Gonstead to this and Gonstead to the best thing, and all of that. And it was really, I had a lot of stress with it at the time, and it was very disheartening to see this. And I'm sure you've seen that kind of, watch it for a while. Why is it important to focus more on our likenesses than our differences?
So I think this is probably one of the biggest things that weights down chiropractic, but especially upper cervical chiropractic. I will say, first of all, thank you to all the diversified and general chiropractors for holding it down for us for years. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here, because in upper cervical, there's 5 of us and we all hate each other. Like, we're such a small niche, and we all want to keep talking about how we do tweaks better than other tweaks.
Right.
At the end of it, and I really want to pull even away from imaging, because upper cervical is all about imaging, and it is important, don't get me wrong, but I really want to focus on the function. Is the patient even getting better? They can look pretty on a post film. They get pretty on a post cone beam for me. Are they even getting better? Does it even matter? Does the patient feel like they're getting anything out of it? I think if we start coming together and realizing that I don't have to be a hero. That's the problem with that conversation. It's the hero conversation. I need a hero in the story, so my technique must be that hero. Versus, let's strip away all of that and say, what are you learning? Here's what I'm learning. What are you seeing? This is what I'm seeing. What can I do a little bit better? Oh, that's what you're doing? Sweet. Let me try that. Or if I don't do it well, refer it out. I do this all the time in my office. In fact, to be honest with you, I only see a subset, and I have to filter that pretty hard. If somebody comes to me and they have some stuff, I send them out to another upper cervical doc. I really only want to see a niche of certain people, because I have complexity at my level. The other thing that I want to say too is I bring in full spine chiropractors. So I do some full spine work in my office, but if I don't feel like it's getting better, I refer them out to another full spine. I don't really see kids under 5 or 6 years old. I know that's such a thing in chiropractic that makes me so shamed. I don't see babies, but that's not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is complexity. I want to be really good at what I'm good at. So I bring in Sarah Hawk, Armand Rossi. Those people, actually, we do in-house co-management, and I pull in those people to do that. I think if we do more of that, this infighting stuff, we can blame the ugly MD with the white lab coat and make him the boogeyman. He's not the boogeyman. We are our own people, that we hold each other down. It's the crabs in the bucket mentality. If somebody shines, they got to pull them down. The reality is we are way more alike than we are different. It's one thing I've learned being the council president and talking to a bunch of people. We all on the same page. We all have the same issues. We all have the same problems and the same patients. Not everybody gets it right the first time. Not everybody can fix everybody. Again, that's not the point of chiropractic anyways. I don't understand it. But yes, I think that is the reason why we haven't gone further upstream than we should have. We have a lot to offer, but we want to sit there and pick apart each other to death and say, no, I have it right. Nobody outside of our walls cares. Nobody cares. The patient in front of you doesn't care.
Right. We had that this month. Actually, I was talking to Rochelle about it last night. We have a person started care with us. She's in about a month of care, and she's a nurse. And she says every visit, my knee's getting worse, my knee. And, we don't work with extremities. We do a very specific analysis approach. And Rochelle called her and, recommended her to go to a PT person for that yesterday, because it's like, we're focusing on your nervous system. If you really, concerned, we're going to send you to someone else for that.
Absolutely.
And I think
I have a PT lady too. I totally get it.
And I think there's two things on that. And years ago, Donnie, when I was in prereqs, either prereqs or at Sherman, Donnie Epstein said to me, I said to him, what do you think is the ideal chiropractic scenario? And I don't know if he'd say the same thing now, but I remember it when I was in school or in prereqs. He said it would be, a chiropractic scenario where there's all people there's Logan people and upper cervical people and full spine people, and everybody would get sent to the appropriate thing for that practice. Or that would be a really ideal scenario. But I think underlying what you're saying as a concern is lack. There's a place of lack. Like, I need to hold on to this patient. I need to be their hero, right? I got to reach my overhead and my expenses, and people don't accept me and all of that. I think that is the pain that underlies it. And I've got to be the one that fixes them. And, how could I send a patient out to, Jamie? Like, well, no, that I've got to be the one that takes care of them. And that's time to change because look, there's 6 million people in the state of Colorado.
What
And there's
percentage do you see? Exactly.
there's 1,500 chiropractors. We can't take care of all of them. We shouldn't be thinking that. I mean, if everybody woke up and said, "Oh, I do need my subluxations corrected," we'd be in real trouble. So,
absolutely, and you're right. That's exactly what it is. That is you nailed it. It is something where it's that insecurity feature, where there's security about finances or security about how good I am and so forth. That's exactly what it is. And I think we need to grow a pair. Sorry, that's my redneck. And we need to have some self-esteem because nobody can do what we do. All the other gaps of health can be filled in some other kind of way except for this. So we hold our own space and time. We are needed and we are necessary. So, but we don't have to be everything, right? We just need to fill the need.
Right. And take care of that person that's trading their time and money to be there with you because they're looking for help in some aspect of the help, how we can make sure that they're served, and they could be anywhere, but somehow they found your office and they could be with their kids, but they're being with your office and it's time and money they're not going to get back. And you got to give them the best attention that you can and find the best solution for them. And you may not be it, so
exactly. And that's okay. Like I think we need to be okay with that. We just may not be that person. That is okay. There's plenty of others out there that are yours. Plenty.
Right. And they may even be helping another health profession instead of like saying, but stick to being in your lane of what it is that you do. Now, there's a lot of things going on at the center of the chiropractic universe there at Sherman. What's some of the events that are coming up that maybe you're involved with?
So part of my post-grad program, the Institute of Complex Cervical Care, we have a lecture series under that called the Cervical Continuum. And the Cervical Continuum is going to house conversations like that are cervical connected conversations, cervical chiropractic connected conversations, or cervical adjacent. And so for our first lecture series, that's going to be May 16th, we are having Dr. Jeff Iliff come speak at Sherman College. Now, if you don't know who Jeff Iliff is, I would suggest that you stop right now, Google his name, and look him up. So Iliff is how you spell his name. And Dr. Jeff Iliff is one of the lead glymphatic researchers in the world. He actually was at the University of Rochester when they discovered the glymphatic series. So that is the clearinghouse in the brain. He also is one of the lead Alzheimer's researchers in the world. I reached out to him about 2 years ago and started having conversations with him. He's an academic, which is a bonus, I will say. And I am obnoxious, first of all, in personality. So I know how to kind of break down a door. But two, it helps that I'm an academic. I'm not approached as any kind of sales. I'm just an academic reaching out to another academic. And so I reached out to him. We started having a conversation. He had no idea what chiropractic was. He didn't even have a foundation for it. He knew the word, but he didn't have a foundation. So I thought, sweet, I get to set that tone for him. I get to tell him what chiropractic is, just like someone did for me, right? So we got in touch with him. He spoke at the Upper Cervical Council's forum last year for us for 2 hours. And when I say blown away, we were blown away. He's got so much information. The great thing about Jeff is in the middle of all the conversations. So all your like Gary Brecka, like all the big people, Jeff's in the middle of those conversations. He's got the lead researchers in sleep and all kinds of stuff as well. So he's going to come onto our campus, and his title of his seminar that he's going to do, he's going to do 8 hours on campus that Saturday. And we're going to offer lunch as well. His title of this seminar is The Emerging Science of Brain Clearance, the Implications of Glymphatics and Meningeal Lymphatics, which is around the face and neck, for neurological and psychiatric conditions. It's amazing work. Now, this is what it's going to look like. So we are really blessed too. We are getting very focused sponsors to sponsor these events. So for this event, NetCare is sponsoring our VIP event that Friday night. So May 15th, the night before, downtown Spartanburg, we're going to have cocktails and heavy hors d'oeuvres and time to meet Jeff. I'm going to ask him some fun questions. He's got a great personality. NetCare will be there to talk about their stuff. We're hoping Ori comes, their CEO, as well. And then Saturdays, we're going to have the Amen Clinic. So the Amen Clinic, who does SPECT scans and neuro stuff and has really cool stuff to offer chiropractors right now, especially for free in trainings and all kinds of awesome things. They're super excited. They're going to be our sponsor, and they're going to come talk about their stuff as well. So this is the beginning of a great conversation. And eventually down the line, we hope to have in our lecture series of the cervical continuum, we hope to have the Amen Clinic come speak as well. But this is our first launch. And so I hope you guys will come. We're going to put it out next week. Roselle's got it all seamed up. And so once we put it out next week, be on the lookout for it and sign up for it, because we're hoping to fill the entire Gilardi Center. We're going to put it out to paraprofessionals. We're going to try to make this the hub of conversation for cervical spine care, chiropractic center focused, but then we're going to bring in neuro people, physiatrists. I know people are coming down with their dentists and all kinds of people to come see him. So we're trying to create the conversation that always leads back to chiropractic, but yet fills the room with lots of information.
Oh, that's so super exciting. I love that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And when's that going to be?
So May 16th is his actual 8-hour day. The night before, on May 15th, we have a VIP hors d'oeuvres and cocktails with him downtown Spartanburg.
Okay. So now, in addition to Lyceum, there's another reason to go to Sherman College in May.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know if you know about Netcare either. Netcare has been huge. They are completely 100% behind chiropractic work. In fact, I went to their conference in Iceland last year. They had 2 upper cervical chiropractors stand up there and speak about Netcare. Netcare is a device that measures, it's Bluetooth, that measures range of motion in very minute ways. I mean, finds all kinds of really coupled motion issues. It also has joint position error tests, and also has a proprietary test called the butterfly test, which we're seeing how the neck and brain conversate in movement. It's really amazing. But one of the conversations was John Chung was on their stage in front of PTs from Duke, MDs from all kinds of big time AMA fighters and stuff. I mean, like huge guys. And he talked about how the autonomic nervous system is really controlled by the cervical spine really well. I mean, he did a great job. And he even said, the question on there, they said, why don't you guys have more publications? Like, I will never forget this. Why don't you guys have more publications and research? And John said, because you won't let us use our words. It was profound. I was like, let's drop everything. That was amazing.
I love that. I love that. That's so interesting that I love John. So, what are some things you'd like people to know in the world, according to Dr. Jaime Browning, that's important for the future of chiropractic?
You'll have to remind me if I missed something on my list. I think things that are important is, at least this is, again, coming from someone who's studied the cervical spine to minutia. That's what I'm coming from. I sometimes think research is what we need to be doing, but we also need to be worrying about the things that are the things. So typically, when it comes to analysis systems, we have historically done particular things over and over again. And we kind of get them like a blanket. This is what I've always done. This is what my forefathers did. I don't really want to do anything different because that's how it's always been done. There's nothing wrong with those analysis systems. There aren't. I don't want to make that sound that way. But we're leaving a lot on the table. And so when I look at things like, I work with a company, I'm on their research advisory board for a company called USA Therm. And it started out as a cardiology tool in thermal, where they were looking at vascular blockages and so forth in the legs using thermal. So they can't see it. The big term is seeing the unseen, right? They couldn't see where the heat buildup was, and they use it on legs, and it's really amazing. Well, I thought, my God, that's literally an FDA regulated thermal camera on an iPad looking device where you could take pictures of your patients. And I use it every time I have a patient. You have a patient's face and you have their thermal right next to it. And if I do their neck, I have their neck. If I do their back, I have their back. And I thought, we're leaving so much on the table. I'm already doing, thankful for the board and Dr. Berla, I have an ICI dynamic thermal camera where we do dynamic thermal tests where I put them under cold pressor and so forth, and we see how their autonomic response is. Well, now I can have a handheld I can use in the patient's, in the office of the patient. It takes 2 seconds to take a picture. It's a sexy little device, so it's not clunky. And I think, man, there's so much we can learn from this. If you really know and you study what those thermal signatures really are showing, they're showing myotomal issues, dermatomal issues, right? They're following cranial nerves. We can figure out problems way quicker. And the other thing that we can do is we can say, look at our pre's, and I'm doing it. Nobody's doing this. I do it immediately after, and I show the posts. Most people using this camera in chiropractic are using it over a 4, 8, 12-week visit. I'm using it right after, and we're showing dynamic changes right after the adjustment. So I think again, that's just a snippet. We're just leaving a lot on the table. I feel like we could use other outcome measures to get more information. That's one. Number two is, my God, get on the same page. For goodness sakes, it doesn't take much. Let's just say that we all say people need to adapt better. Great. Now we're on the same page. You know, that's what dentists did. Dentists back in the day were pulling teeth like crazy. In the early 1900s, they said, we got to do something different. So they all banded together and said, let's talk about brushing teeth. And I'm not saying to do spinal hygiene, but they said, let's talk about brushing teeth. Everybody came together and came up with one thing at least they all could agree on. I don't know if you guys know this. I have now started training with dental people a lot because they, again, are in our wheelhouse of area. They have a million different philosophies as well, but they don't put them on Facebook. The other thing is they combine themselves and they unify. They all say, this is what's important. Let's just focus, whether it's the bite or the teeth or whatever, this is important. Let's just talk about it's important. I think that's what we need to say. We all agree people need to be adapting. They need to be adapting. They need to be how they are designed to be. How do we get them there? Okay, we agree. Now we kind of band on that. We have that as our conversation and we all do it a little bit differently. What else is on my list, Danny? I forgot. I think I wrote a few things.
Complex, radical collaboration. Collaboration.
Yes, radical. And so the word radical collaboration means get over ourselves. Absolutely get over ourselves. I think for me, I come from my dad was a coach. He played for UNC basketball. He was MVP. He was a basketball coach in high school. He coached Kevin Garnett, who, talked about him on Behind the Glories and 30 for 30s. And when Kevin retired, he talked about my dad. I have learned a lot about what it looks like to be in the spotlight and how it takes a lot of pressure and change and stuff too as well. I also come from a very, my mom is an amazing woman. She was a psychiatric nurse who's retired. She's an 04 in the Navy, so she was a lieutenant commander. She's very stoic and German, and she knows how to get stuff done. So she's one of my heroes in my life. So I have that, and have my dad, who had a great personality, was able to, be in very big spotlights and stuff too, but also, bear the weight of that pressure. I look at that, and then I also look at, I'm redneck, so I got a pretty good bit of Jerry Springer also in my life as well. So you combine all those things together, and it kind of creates the person that you see right now. It takes tenacity.
Plus Disney. You can't leave that out.
See, I have fun. But I thought it was so cute when Jody put out and asked everybody to come up with a word this year. And I was giggling because everybody was so lovely. It was like compassion and unify, just wonderful words. And here I am, tenacity was mine, because my thought process is, I don't care what kind of day I'm having. I have really, really rough days, and I'm very, very thankful for my support system. I have, because in a world where you're pushing and pushing and pushing through doors, and sometimes it's an ugly no, or people don't like the way that you're doing something, even though you're leading a charge to kind of get everybody moving forward. People don't also always love that. And I know you felt this before too. I think I don't care. Like, my husband won't let me give up. First of all, he loves chiropractic more than most chiropractors, but not only that, I don't care what people think. I don't even, this sounds awful. I don't care. I have a mission and I have a vision, and I'm going to make it happen. I don't care. It's not about Jamie. I feel called, led, drug, scraping and crawling. I feel that way to get this stuff done. And my biggest thing is, we have to collaborate. We have to talk to people in like-minded areas and say, hey, this is what we do. Do you even know what we do? They have no clue what we do. And that's how we open doors to see more patients, and how we get to expose ourselves to more of the world, right? And then research. We have to care about it. I know people don't care about it because they don't think it goes very far. It absolutely goes far. The other side of it too is, we have to, again, stop infighting. We cannot make it to point B because we can't get out of point A, because no one will allow you to be out of point A. You're only allowed to do your practice. That's it. Once you step outside of that and you start actually pushing past that, people get so weird about that. And I don't understand. So for me, I want to take everybody with me. I'm putting it on the record. When I move forward through these portals of people, I am pulling my profession with me. I speak in we all the time. I rarely ever speak in Jamie. I say we do this, we, because we as my predecessors, my mentors, Bob Brooks is one of my biggest mentors, and I miss him every friggin' day. He would have done this, and that's exactly what he unified us, and he brought us together, and he pushed us forward. That's the kind of stuff that I want to do. And I think that that's what our field needs to focus on. If you're frustrated right now with the field, look around you, look in the mirror. What are you doing? What are you doing to unify? What are you doing to help that? Right? Part of it is just maybe you don't want to be that lead person. Maybe you don't want to be that person doing the work. I don't have a problem with that. But support the people who are doing it and stop complaining. That's the other side of it too. I don't know what else is on my list, Danny. I'm sorry, but I think that's it.
Well, here's the thing. I want to acknowledge you for being one of the people that holds the space for pushing forward and advancing and collaboration. Those are vital things and things that, a lot of chiropractors might push aside, but I appreciate you waving that flag, because it's vital and it's needed because we need that to be able to move forward and not continue to circle the wagons inward, and also to be able to expand, and ultimately that's about more people actually getting chiropractic care. There's this whole suffering humanity, as people say, that don't have what we don't receive what it is that we have as a gift.
And I totally agree. And I think for me too, I know my role. Like it's really well defined for me in my brain. I know my role. I'm not gonna be the person with a huge practice that has lots of, has numbers that I want to say I see 5,000 people a week, whatever number people are putting out there. I don't need to be that person. That is not my role is to get us across to other people, to get them to understand who we are and to collaborate. That's one. Number two is unify. I am a person I'm a Libra. I guess this is a thing where I want to pull people together. I also like to burn boats. I'm not gonna lie. I do like to burn boats as well. But I do want to unify people and bridge some conversation. And three, I want to take technology that's out there. This is one of my big things I'm doing. I go and I meet with cardiologists, and I go to their conferences, and I go and hang out with dentists, and I go and hang out with physiatrists. What technology are you using to analyze? Cool. Can I use it? Good. I'm going to use it now. So I'm using their technology. I'm doing my analysis pre and post, and we're getting great results. And that's not a Jamie thing. I push a button. That's not a Jamie thing. But we're getting great results. So now what I can say is, well, this is what you said was valid and reliable, this metric, and now I'm using that same metric, and we're getting results. Does that say we're valid and reliable? That opens that conversation. The other thing I like to do too, and our field doesn't love when I say this, is I like to take some of, I would say, things that we hold really near and dear that maybe aren't the best assessment points for us and challenge them. And I say, is that really what we should be using? Maybe we're looking at it wrong. Maybe we need to be looking at something else. Maybe we've always said it's this. Maybe it's this, right? COVID changed everything. I cannot say this enough. COVID changed everything. Even the people that are in the highest levels of function stuff, cardiology and so forth, they all are saying it. People are not the same. Their bodies are on fire, and they don't know how to put it out. And the things that you used to get really good results with aren't necessarily getting the same results. Why? Even if they're holding their alignment or adjustment or whatever way you want to say it, but they're still not getting, why? Their systems are on fire. We've got to be part of that conversation.
And the world needs healing. The world needs healing.
Amen.
Yeah, and there's a shortage of chiropractors, and there's a world of spines distorted that's out there. So, that we're needed, and we have to step up. So I do want to say thank you so much for being at Mile High this past year. It was a real gift to have you there. And also thank you so much for serving at Sherman College and inspiring students. And also now thank you for inspiring chiropractors, and thank you for taking the time to be on the Mile High podcast. This is going to be one that people really enjoy, maybe, a most listened to one from,
They need coffee before they listen. I feel like I went 90 miles an hour, so my apologies.
Isn't that what you always do before you? That's foreign to me, what you're saying.
It's so true.
So and thank you just for holding the space that you do for chiropractors, and so thank you for being here.
I can't say enough. We talked about this before we got on this, but to do what you do, to hold Mile High, people have zero clue what it takes. So I appreciate all that you do, and I appreciate that your health is maintaining too from your scare years ago, and you're able to do that. Like, it's a blessing. And people like you are taken for granted sometimes because people just expect to show up and be entertained. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you want to really give good content, and you want to make sure people are getting something out of it, but you also have to entertain them. It's a hard friggin' job. So I appreciate you. Believe me, from
Well,
one person to another. I appreciate
thank you for saying it. So I truly appreciate that. It means more than you know. It's a lot of energy that goes in, and so we do it because it's important.
Right.
So so thank you. And everyone, make sure, especially here you go from Jamie, dial in the date, August 20th. Mile High 14,
Absolutely.
and be there with your team in the center of the country, to be able to have this vortex of people having a hub for chiropractic enthusiasm. And it's at riseuptomilehigh.com. And make sure to hit subscribe to the Mile High podcast, whatever way you're watching, listening to this, so you can always get your tick brain up leveled. So in heart and soul. So, and thank you so much, Dr. Jamie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you too.
Keep changing spines, minds, and lives with chiropractic.